What's up, everyone? I'm Virginie from Better Music, and this is my podcast, Better Minds. On this podcast, we will have conversations about life, health, struggles, and music. I hope this place will make you feel loved and safe, and I really hope this place will make you feel like you can fully be yourself. Thank you so much for listening. Welcome to this brand new episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't know if this is the first episode you're listening to, or maybe you listened to a few ones before, but thank you so much for being here. That means so much to me. This podcast is new to me. I love it so much. I'm gonna do my best to make better episodes every time. So thank you for being here. And let's get to it. I am here with singer-songwriter Sadie Gust.
How's everything with you? It's so nice to finally talk face to face.
I know, same. I was checking my blog the other day, and the interview I did with you was like maybe in 2020.
Yeah. That I know it's crazy that I forget if I reached out to you or what. I think
You did.
a friend of mine had sent me your blog. I really hadn't released music yet, but
It was your
I
first
appreciate it.
song.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still on Spotify.
It's not. We took it down. I had a manager at the time who people had advised me to start fresh. But we actually have plans. I really want to redo that song and fully produce it with my producer who I work with now and stylize it and make it new and cool and kind of fleshed out because I like the roots of it. I like the foundation that song.
Yeah, I loved it. It was very fresh and unique.
Thank you.
But your stuff is so much better now.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I think you can see the growth, in age, obviously, as you get older, your palette's more refined and everything is more refined. And I think the more you work at something,
Yep.
hopefully you strive to get better. And I think it has.
Definitely, I love it. So what did you grow up listening to?
A lot of classic rock. The Beatles were always on, thanks to my dad. But he also loved a lot of progressive rock and the cool experimental stuff. Like Pink Floyd, he loved Yes and Rush. My mom loved Prince, and he's a big inspiration of mine. She loved Tom Petty. They loved the Rolling Stones, things like that. Fleetwood Mac. I always loved I always say this, but any female rock star, I was like, I want to be that when I grow up. Like people always talk about what you want to be when you grow up. I saw a Barbie of Debbie Harry in Toys R Us when I was a kid and thought, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be, in a band and I want to play. And I always loved powerhouse female front women of fans and things like that, like Stevie Nicks, Debbie Harry, Janis Joplin.
Obviously, yeah. That makes sense. Because when you hear your voice, that's powerful and that's edgy and I love it.
Thank you.
And I don't think you sang like that on the first single. It was different.
No, the first song was super light. It was, I don't know, I didn't quite have my sound figured out yet. I was sort of just writing whatever kind of came to me first. And I didn't have that much experience with writing something and then recording it. So I think that was a lot of experimentation and a lot of figuring out what works for me, what doesn't work for me. One thing I've stuck to though is I do love a lot of layered vocals. I love doing background vocals and stacking harmonies on top of each other and finding these fun little arrangements. So I definitely think that has stuck with me because on La La La, I went and did so many vocal doubles and I had so much fun with the harmonies and figuring out how to weave melodies in and out of each other. So I think that's sort of the through line, but I've definitely learned to just kind of dig in more and sing out.
With your powerful voice. Keep doing that.
Thank you.
One of my favorite voices. Not even lying.
No way. Thank you. Well, you have been so supportive from the beginning and I cannot thank you enough.
I try because I think you're amazing. You are a rock star and I think you're gonna do great.
Thank you. That means a lot. I feel like you have a really good ear. I've noticed like some of the people that you've interviewed 5 years ago, I'll see them, playing huge venues and selling out shows or getting on Spotify playlists, and it's cool. Like it's got to be cool for
Names.
you
Give
too.
me names. Who are they?
One that I'm thinking of, because actually we grew up close to each other. I don't know him personally, but we have mutual friends. You know Ben Kessler. I think you have interviewed him, and he had a song with Lizzie McAlpine. He is so successful, and it's really cool to see. Trying to think of who else. They're all escaping me right now, but he's somebody I remember. I think that's actually the reason I was in contact with you because I saw something about him, and we had mutual friends because we went to neighboring high schools, which is really funny.
That's crazy. Small world. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a great engineer. I love his ear and a great producer.
Yeah, that's something I wish I could do more of. I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to production, although I think the more I'm surrounded by it and I'll shadow people and I'll watch them as they work, I think I definitely have the ideas and I start thinking like a producer, but I don't necessarily have the knowledge to do it myself and create it. But it's on my bucket list to get better at.
One day.
One day. Yeah, I have a lot of goals, and we'll get them.
You're young. You'll get there.
Thank you.
So do you have any favorite music videos from back in the day?
That's a good question. It's funny because the ones that come up for me are mainly ones that I grew up watching as a kid. Like I remember when Taylor Swift's new music videos would come out, that was always so significant for me. I had Fearless when Fearless came out by Taylor Swift. That was the first album I ever spent my hard-earned money on as a 7 or 8 year old. And I had it on my iPod, the iPod Nano that had the screen. And I bought the deluxe version, so I had the music videos on my phone. So I remember watching the You Belong With Me music video and the Love Story music video. To me, Taylor Swift was everything and still is everything. But so she was someone that I was always excited to watch when it came to music videos. I also Telephone by Lady Gaga and Beyonce just came to mind because that I feel like was such a significant song in my childhood. I was obsessed with both of them and I was obsessed with that song.
Wow. When I think about that, I'm so old and I was watching MTV for real when I was a teenager. It was super exciting to watch and listen at the same time. And I really missed that.
Yeah, I think it's funny because when I think of MTV, the first thing I think of is Video Killed the Radio Star, which is such an ironic first video to be on MTV. But I always think of that when it comes to music videos because I'm definitely more musically driven than I am visually driven. And I think about lyrics more and I think about melody more than I think about the visuals that'll accompany it. And I think it's a cool thing that music has gotten so visual, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if it's my strong suit. Like, I'm not a video type of person. I'm diving into that for the first time as we speak. I'm editing my own music video for the first time ever. And I'm excited about that. Speaking of music videos, it's not out yet, the song, but I've been teasing it slowly. And my friend and I we shot this video on the beach in Miami. She lives in Miami. And we said, you know what? Two girls with an iPhone. Let's see what we can make. And it was the most low budget video ever. But I got to tell you, this girl has such an eye. She's got such a vision. And we cranked out a music video in like an hour. I'm editing it now. But I've realized you can do a lot with a low budget. Even my sister and I will film videos. She'll film a lot of my content. A lot of the videos I posted for Dopamine. She filmed them. We went to the park down the road. We took maybe 20 minutes, shot some videos, and I was so impressed. Like her eye, how steady her hand was. At one point, she was running alongside me. I posted a video of the behind the scenes of that too, but it's just cool to see what you can do with not so much. I don't think you always have to break the bank.
Yeah, you can just do anything with your phone, so. But you still make music videos even though you're not a visual person. And why do you do that?
I think unfortunately I tried to run away from the whole social media visually focused side of music for a long time. And I think in the past few years, I've come around to not just obliging, but, starting to find my own passion for it and starting to find ways that I can make it my own because I'm not the type of person that will ever feel natural just putting my phone up and playing covers to my camera. Whereas if I'm in front of an audience, I'll be 100% comfortable and I'll play songs to an audience forever and ever and ever. But I think I've just realized that, this is the industry now. This is what it will be for the foreseeable future. And if I want to be a part of it, I got to rise to the occasion. And if visuals are going to be, you know, imperative, then I'll do it. And I think it's been a challenge, definitely. I think I spent a lot of the past 5 years, I mean, really since I've known you, just trying to figure out how to be comfortable, get comfortable in front of the camera, comfortable, showing all sides of myself. But I think it's just, to me, it's like another part of the job. It's like, if you get hired for a job, there are certain things that are going to be on your to-do list and we can't say, oh, I don't want to do that one or, oh, I don't like that one. So I think it's just a matter of making it work for me instead of being so negative about it. But I do feel as though I'm pretty negative about social media. And maybe that's not the best.
Well, social media is the worst.
Okay, good. We're in alignment on that.
And I think it's getting worse. Every time I post something now, no one sees it. And it used to be different. I don't get it.
I feel the same.
I don't get it.
I feel the same. I think it could just be oversaturation, or it's just, I do find that a lot of my friends, myself included, are just getting a sense of fatigue from social media and from constantly seeing things and seeing what other people are up to. I think a lot of people are quitting it. A lot of people are trying to, undo the addiction that they've created for their phones, including myself.
Yeah, that's weird. I usually see fun videos. I don't see normal videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the funny videos are working now. But it's not good for artists.
No, yeah, it's definitely oversaturated. And it's almost created its own like side of the music industry. And I think I try to exist in the in-between. Like I definitely wouldn't want people to see me and say, oh, you're a TikTok artist. Because I think that's kind of become a genre of artist is people that make videos on TikTok and they're like a TikTok personality, the same way YouTube had its thing. But at the same time, if people are appreciating my music, then I'm content with that. If they found me on TikTok, if they found me at a live show, if they found me, however.
Yeah. And what do you think of TikTok?
I think it overwhelms me. I think I tried my hardest to not get TikTok for the longest time. My friends said, oh, it's so fun. It's this dancing app and you can post your music on it. And for a long time, I said, no, I'm not getting that. I don't even like social media. I didn't like Instagram at the time. But once I realized that people were building their careers off of it, I thought, well, it's a tool I could use. So I think I've done with music videos and just visuals in general, I've learned to make it work for me. And I am really grateful for it. Every now and then I'll have my moments where I'm just ready to delete it all. But I think I'm grateful for it. I think it's gotten me opportunities that I never would have gotten. It's connected me with really cool people. So I can't be too negative on it. I have to be appreciative of the connections it's helped me achieve.
And what kind of videos are you posting? Usually singing, right?
Yeah, as of late, it's a lot of singing. Sometimes it's just me sitting in front of this wall on my couch playing covers, or I'll play my originals live. In the past, maybe 6 months, I've started doing a little more like aesthetic, maybe you'd call it, types of videos where it's not just me lip syncing my videos, or it's not just me playing my songs live, but it's more of a visual world that we're creating. I feel so dumb saying that, but I think something that's important in this day and age is creating a visual world for your project you're working on. So for instance, for this EP, we're really, trying to get more quality content out and trying to build a visual world so that people can associate, different senses and different feelings and different colors and visuals with the music that they're listening to, which I think I'm starting to enjoy. The more it's funny, forget who said this quote, but I saw a quote that was talking about creativity and it was saying that creativity is like, it's not like a muscle because it doesn't really get fatigued the more you use it. The more you use it, the more it grows. So the more you use your creativity, the more you're inclined to think that way. And I think positivity is the same way, where the more you find positivity in your life, the more you're inclined to think positively. And so I find that with creativity, specifically regarding visuals, I find that the more I'm thinking in a visual way and I'm thinking, okay, how can this music translate to the visual? Then the more I kind of flip flop and I think, well, how can this visual work with my music? So I think it's been better than it used to be.
Mm. Have you ever posted on YouTube back in the day? Maybe covers?
I have. So actually, when I was in high school, I had a YouTube channel and I posted maybe 5 covers. Um, but it wasn't something I really took seriously. It was just for fun. And it was associated with my school email account. Well, that was deactivated once I graduated. So you can't, I don't even have access to those videos anymore, which is really sad. But I remember I covered Mariah Carey, I covered Adele, I covered Sia, and I had fun with it, but unfortunately it's long gone. But I post my music videos and stuff on YouTube. I posted a couple of covers, in the past few years. And then the main thing I'll use YouTube for is like the live versions of our songs. So like I did a Boys Don't Cry live video, a Gasoline live video. I have another one that I need to get on and edit for Mama Knows, but that's mostly what I use YouTube for.
Can't wait for the new live performance. I'm in love with the Gasoline one. So good. I love live performances, and you need to keep doing that.
Thank you.
We need those live video performances.
Thanks. I want to play a show. I want to play more shows in cool places. Like that's my biggest thing is I love doing the live videos. Even going live on TikTok and Instagram, I think that's fun. But my goal for this year, although the year's halfway over, my goal for this year and next year is to start branching out. I've played across the US. I've played in LA, Nashville, New York, Philly, around the Northeast. But I would love to play in Europe. I would love to play in England. I would love to play in France. Yeah, that's my goal. Because playing live is like where my heart lives.
Yeah, and you have the voice for this.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, we need that live music. We don't want to hear these TikTok videos all the time.
I agree. Now, have you been to the US? Have you been?
Yeah. I've been to LA maybe 10 times.
Oh my gosh. Now, do you like the music culture better in the US or do you like it in France or any other country you've been to? Like what? I'm sorry, I'm asking you a question, but I'm curious. Like,
well, of questions. Well, I grew up listening to American music, and this is how I learned English. So, and watching MTV and all this stuff. So, American music was my thing, and I never liked French music except for a few songs. So I kind of grew up listening to that, and my dream was to go to Los Angeles and New York, and I would discover every artist on MySpace and YouTube, and they were all from the US. So my dream was to go see them perform at the Hotel Cafe, which is my favorite venue. I love this place so much. The sound is so good and it's so intimate, and you can discover a lot of artists. And yeah, the US was my dream and I made it. I made it there.
wow.
Yeah, I never liked French music, especially now. It's getting worse, but yeah, I had this American spirit in me.
I love that because I find I'm the opposite. Like I mean, I love where I grew up. I love New York too. But any opportunity I get, I want to go abroad. My producer's in the UK. And I'm constantly thinking, can I play a show in the UK? Can I go record in the UK? I just want to explore. But I think that's if you're the right type of person, I think you're always like thinking, okay, well, how can I get out more? How can I explore more? How can I do more? But it's cool that you mentioned the Hotel Cafe. I love that venue too.
Have you played there?
I have. My roommate and I actually played, I guess it's 2 years ago now, which is crazy. And I was there in 2021. I went to a show there for the first time. And then in 2023, Zach and I played there. It
Wow.
was the smaller stage. It was the smaller stage of the two. It was such a small show. We got added to it last minute. But I will never say no to a show. I don't care if there are 400 people in the audience or two.
Yeah.
I just like playing.
I like the second stage better because it's more intimate.
I love that.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
And the sound is just so good. I'm always so impressed. And yeah, I really have this ear for music, so when the sound is bad, I can tell and I get anxious.
I agree. I get that too. Now, do you write music or do you produce at all?
Nope. But I used to work a lot with producers, and so I trained my ears for that. And I used to be an A&R for an indie music company, so this is how I practiced.
Oh, cool.
So I think I have good ears.
Yeah, that's cool. I always wonder, like people in the business, because a lot of people have a history where they grew up playing music and then discovered they like the business side more, but it's cool. You're like
Yeah.
right in the in between.
I told a lot of people, but yeah, I wanted to be a singer when I was young. And then I just decided to promote artists because I like helping people.
I love that. I love that so much.
So what biggest struggles do you go through as an artist?
I think one of the biggest things is burnout. I think something, maybe I realized it, maybe I didn't, was that when you do choose to do something like the arts, it's kind of a 24/7 job. And I would never say that in a way, where I'm complaining about it, but I do think, you're always on call and the job never really ends because there aren't really limits to it. You could always post more, you could always write more, you could always record more, you could always play more, you could always have more followers. And I think sometimes with my mentality, that can clash a little bit because I am very hard on myself. I'm better now, but I used to be really, really hard on myself. And if I didn't hit a goal or if I didn't do exactly what I intended on doing, I would get really down on myself. So I think just dealing with the burnout and the ups and downs of it all is the biggest thing, and the unpredictability because I have, like there are a million stories of people who have had viral songs. Their song is every other scroll on TikTok and you're hearing their song. And then the next year they're dropped from their label, they move back to their hometown and they're basically started from square one. And so I think the unpredictability is something that if you don't have the right personality for it and you don't have the right sort of resilience, it could really knock you down. Luckily, I haven't even hit that fame part yet. So when all is the work part, it's all right because I haven't really been so high at the top to even have a chance to fall. So there's the optimism. But I also think the sort of self-esteem issue comes about for me a little bit. I've definitely dealt with self-consciousness in terms of the way that I look and the way that I present myself and the way that people have talked about me, specifically, I think as a woman in any industry, honestly, they make such a big deal about the way you look and they want you to look a certain way. Whether, I'm sure teachers, nurses, retail workers, everybody, I think as a woman probably has at least one story where they're like, yep, somebody commented on my looks or somebody told me I had to look a certain way. So I think that's been another thing. It's just learning to filter out the things that I just don't feel like hearing and learning how to not be so caught up in the way that I look and so caught up in striving for perfection, you know?
Mm. And how's it like to be a woman in the music industry?
I think it's incredibly empowering. And at the same time, it's like an endless uphill battle. I think Taylor Swift has a song that describes it really well. where it's basically saying if I were a man, you can do certain things as a man, but you can't do certain things as a woman. Like if you're a strong, assertive woman, you'll be called a bossy woman. But if you're a strong, assertive man, they call you strong and assertive. So I think the biggest thing is learning to be assertive and learning to speak up for myself and not letting people tell me what to do, not letting people walk all over me. Um, Definitely when I was younger, it got to me more where I'd be in rooms full of people and full of men and I would speak up and no one would even acknowledge that I spoke. And then someone else would say my same idea louder. It was like off of a sitcom. And then everyone suddenly listened because a man suggested it. So I think it's definitely something, it makes you stronger. Like being a woman in a male dominated field, it's either going to make you want to quit or it's going to make you want to succeed even harder. And that's what it did for me. Is I was like, I'm not listening to you guys and I'm not going to let you get in my head. So I'm just going to be the most resilient I can be.
Mm, that's powerful.
Thank you.
I wish I could be like that.
You can though. I think on your side of things, even more so, it might be like I feel like you're forging your path even more so than I am because there are a lot of female singers, there are a lot of female artists, but I think on the industry side, the journalism side, you don't see quite as much. So I admire you for that.
Thank you. Well, my dream is to make a difference as a French and Asian woman making it in the US.
I think that's amazing. I think you're on your way.
I think I am, but yeah, that's tough, but getting there. Hopefully,
Yeah. Have you thought, yeah. No, I have no doubt. Have you ever thought about moving here?
Yep, but I don't want to anymore.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Do you want all the reasons?
I honestly, we probably would have the same list because I've thought about moving. I thought about moving to England. When I was in France last year, I thought, oh my gosh, I want to move to France. Um,
Why don't you move to Europe?
I'm seriously considering it. My lease here ends in 2 months, and I feel like that's not nearly enough time to get my plan together. But I've thought about maybe the year after, even just subletting and spending 6 months in London or something. I just think it would be really cool and really beneficial for me. But we'll see.
A lot of people do.
Waiting. Yeah. I'm just waiting to be pushed in a certain direction because right now I can really be anywhere. Like I don't have management. I don't have a team that's, central to New York or LA or anything like that. So it's cool because right now I could be anywhere and I can travel as much as I want, but it's also like I have no reason, like I have no pull to one city or another. So I'm sort of just staying in my little apartment, like 30 minutes from where I grew up. And, we'll see where the wind takes me.
We'll see, but I will see you in France very soon.
I
Hopefully.
I would love that. Seriously, if I end up, because I'll be in England, and if I have the time and the money, I will 100%. I want to go back to France because I fell in love with it. I need you to help me get my French a little better.
Well, let's do that now.
I did actually, I thought of you because I had a gig. It was for the French American Chamber of Commerce a few weeks ago. So it was just a room full of French people and they always request that I sing in French. And I am always so self-conscious because I'm like, you want this little American girl to sing in French when like you guys have the real deal. But I did a couple ones. I did like Edith Piaf. I did Zooby Zooby Zoo. I didn't know people like that song, but they always request it. So, I'll sing it. But it was really fun.
Is it easy to sing French?
I think if I am familiar enough with the song, yes. The only time I catch myself struggling is when I'm not super familiar. Like if I haven't really practiced it and I'm sort of sight reading it, if there are too many words coming at once. I think the hardest thing is figuring out the syllables and like the rhythm of the syllables, especially with French, because, some words you don't say the end, like, if
Yeah.
it's not like English where like like certain conjugations. Like if there's ENT at the end of the word, you might not say it. Whereas with English, it's pretty much just what it looks like is how you pronounce it. Although English is also the most difficult language in the world. But yeah, I think singing in French is kind of the same as singing in English. Although I'm always curious if it's believable or if it sounds like, oh, this American girl is singing in French. Like if you didn't know me, would you think that I was a native French speaker?
I would love to hear that.
Maybe I'll post a video. Maybe this will inspire me. Maybe I'll post a video in French and you can do your honest review. And I need your honest review.
I will send you some French songs.
Please do if you have a playlist.
I don't have a playlist, but I'm gonna find like cool songs for you to sing.
I would love that. Right now, I don't know too many. When I was in high school, my some of my French teachers, they used to do units that involved music, and I always looked forward to that. But one of them was Luann. I was introduced to Luann when I was in high school, and I just saw she competed in Eurovision, and I used to love her. I think she's so cool.
I love her voice. She has a really nice voice, very warm, and yeah, I like her voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I always liked her in high school. That was like some of the first French music I got introduced to, at least like modern French pop music. Yeah, that's another thing is I would love to see more shows when I'm in the UK or when I'm wherever. Wherever I go, I like to see live music. Like if I'm in New York, if I'm in Nashville, and I would love to see more of it in the UK because I do feel like people have more of an appreciation for it there. Like especially for the no-name artists, like somebody like me was just playing in a small little standing room venue. I feel like people in the UK and in France, they're more inclined to just kind of stumble into a venue and see who's playing. Whereas I feel like in the US, especially New York, I find people will go for the people that they know. But if there's an opener that they don't know or there's a closer that they don't know, they'll leave. They'll just go for the person that
really?
the ticket for. Yeah, I find that people don't love to stick around. But it might just be like the American culture of like being very like, hyper focused on like what you know and what like I don't know. People don't just like lend their time to do things as much, I find. Maybe that's like a generalization, but that's just what I found as the no-name artist that people are sometimes stumbling in to see. I find that like people will leave after a set. But I love discovering new people by seeing them live. I went to a venue in Philly called Johnny Brenda's a few months ago and discovered an artist that way. I just decided like I wanted to start going to more shows. My dad and I went and my friend, my bass player, and we just kind of stumbled in. We didn't know anything about the artist or the band that was playing, and they were really, really cool. It was an Australian band, and I think the front man, his aunt was the drummer. It was really cool. Because my dad's my keyboard player. And I don't know, to me, it's really cool to see multiple generations in a band. It's not just like a bunch of 20-somethings jamming up there, but it's cool. There's nothing I like more than discovering new music by seeing it live and then going back and finding my Spotify.
That's the best feeling.
Yeah.
I discovered a few artists like that in Los Angeles, in the street. And I love that.
Cool.
Because you stop and listen and you're like, man, this guy is so amazing. And I love this feeling. And then you go to Spotify and listen to everything. But you're right.
It's similar.
Europeans love music in a different way.
They do, yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, but all these boy bands from back in the day, they didn't do anything in the US. But in Europe, they blew up so fast and no one knew them in the US. It took them forever. Wow. They had to make R&B sound to work in the US. But
no way.
Europe was a big deal, and it's still a big deal.
Yeah, that's always been cool to me to see. It's odd, but it's cool to see artists that are so well known in the US, but then no one in the UK knows them or vice versa. Like, do you know Olivia Dean? She's like really now gaining traction in the US, but she's a UK based artist. And I've loved her for like 5 years now. And now I feel like she's breaking into the US.
I don't know her.
oh, you should check her out. Once again, just like the smoothest voice ever, like beautiful tone. Her songs are just like great, like just sit back and chill out and listen to them. Like it's always good feeling.
I'll check her out. Well, I don't know a lot of people. I only know you and the people I interview. I just stopped looking for music now for some reason.
That's fair. I think it can just get overwhelming. Even even looking back to 5 years ago when you first like when we first kind of got in contact, thinking about how many more people are trying to make it. Um, I almost think like TikTok is past its prime in a way, the same way that there were people who were discovered on YouTube, and then all of these people, there was this like surge of people who thought, well, I want to get discovered on YouTube, but it was past its prime. Like we already had the discoveries from YouTube, like the Justin Bieber or, the Tori Kelly type of people. Um, and I think TikTok is getting to that point where we're, we're seeing artists that are developed and discovered on TikTok, but if everyone's doing the same thing, there aren't going to be these long careers anymore. Like if you do get picked up from TikTok, it might just be like a fleeting moment. Although that's just me being a pessimist. So
I agree with you. But yeah, we'll see.
yeah, I could be so negative about TikTok if I want to be, but I'm trying to be positive. It's a great opportunity, and I see it as a tool. I see it as one more tool in my toolbox, and that's pretty much it.
And how do you stay positive? Do you have days where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, or maybe I don't want to post videos or sing or even write a song?
100%. I actually have a lot of those days, and I think part of it is just being a woman and having moods that swing like crazy. But I think that's where having a good support system really comes into play. I think having my family, my dad is in my band with me, so he's always in my ear. But my mom is really the one that she'll pull me out of a funk. Like if I'm saying I don't want to do this, she is either hyping me up or she's saying, you know what, take a week or two off and let yourself take a breather, let yourself evaluate if you really do want to do this because people change their mind. And I think having my parents, my sisters, I have some friends who also will similarly just check in on me. And my one friend, my friend who I shot the video with in Miami, she'll text me and she'll say, all right, I need to see a TikTok up today. Like, you haven't posted today, but like, let's get straight down to business. So I think whether it's in a lighthearted way or a business way or a heartfelt way, I have this incredible little support system that they're always checking in on me. They're always trying to make sure my content is getting out there. They're always sharing my stuff, and it's cool. I think I'm very lucky for that.
And what's the best advice they've ever given you? Your parents or maybe your friends?
I think you think that I would have a good answer for this, and I always feel bad. There's nothing that just comes straight to mind. But growing up, my mom always said, good things happen to good people. And I think in my darker days, I started to stray from that. And I thought, that's not true because I try to be good and I try so hard to be good and I'm not getting what I want. But I think it just takes time. And I do think at the end of the day, if you work hard and if you're a good person, you will get where you need to be. I definitely think too, I try not to strive for these crazy goals. When I was younger, I used to have these goals. I would just overshoot myself. And then I would get so frustrated when I didn't reach those goals. So I think I've had people help me sort of manage that and just understand that I should take everything one day at a time and it's baby steps. And especially in this industry, like who knows what tomorrow will look like? Who knows if, the app that everybody is putting their heart and soul into every other 90 days, it's like, oh, we might not have TikTok anymore. So I think the best advice I could give somebody is just take it day by day. And at the end of the day, it's not that serious. Like you can keep creating art anytime, any place with these apps that we have, without them. It's like such a simple thing at the end of the day, and it shouldn't be stressful. I make it stressful because of my silly little brain, but I think it shouldn't be stressful. But at the end of the day, my mom always says good things happen to good people. And actually my coworker was talking to me about that too today, which is really odd. And fun. But yeah, I think good things happen to good people. I think just be a good person and good things should come your way.
I agree. I used to live by this motto too. I think I'm a good person, and sometimes I'm just like, nothing is coming.
Mhm.
What's gonna happen now? But yeah, I always try to be a good person and just keep doing my thing. But it's hard sometimes to stay positive. But if you stay a good person, you're gonna make a huge difference. It's not only about being a good artist. I always say that it's about being a good person first.
I completely agree. I think especially like something I've learned through watching other people and just learned through navigating my own experiences is like it gets you a long way. And not that you should always be in things just to gain from it, but I think I've watched people be rude to the wait staff at a bar or at a venue. And I've watched people be mean to the sound person or the lighting person or the members of their band. And I think it's just such a bad look. And I like look down on those people and I cringe at them because I'm like, why are you just because you're the artist and you're the, the front man, like, why are you yelling at your band or why are you yelling at the sound guy or the lighting guy? So, yeah, I think I've just, through the role models in my life, I've learned to treat every single person with kindness.
Mm, you're gonna go far.
Thank you. Thank you. That's cool.
So, how did your music evolve throughout the years? Let's say since 2020.
That's a good question. I think just naturally through my own growing and evolving, the music grew with me. I think right when you caught me in 2020, I had just kind of started diving into the idea that I could make music and then release it. I'd been writing since I was young, but I hadn't ever really thought about releasing it, or at least thought seriously about it and thought about how I could do it. But I think as I grew, the music grew with me. And the older I got, maybe I got a bit more cynical. Maybe my music started getting a little bit darker. But I think sonically, lyrically, melodically, it's just gotten a bit more sophisticated, which I'm proud of. I write 90% of what I write with my dad, and he just has such a sophisticated ear and a sophisticated pen. So I've always sort of striven to follow in his footsteps because I just love the way he writes. And I also think I'm, I have a knack, maybe if I could pat myself on the back, I have a knack for sort of taking things in, but not mimicking. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I hear music that's just pure mimicry because I don't know. I think if you're not being original, there's not as much of a point. Like to me, if I'm going to express myself and make music, I want it to be like something few people have heard. I just think that's more fun. I think it's cooler. I think it's less fun when you're just deriving your inspiration directly from somebody else.
Wow. I can't wait to hear more music.
I can send you. I'll message it on Instagram, but I'll send you the EP that we're working on. I don't know. It actually might be it might be an album at this point because there's a lot of stuff that we're working on. So it might make its way to being a full album. But yeah, I have the 4 that we released so far this year. Please, Mama Knows, Baby Tooth, Dopamine. Then we have this other song that we filmed the music video for that I've just started kind of teasing on socials. And then we have 2 more songs that I wrote while I was in England. And then 2 more potential songs that are just like Sadie solo written songs that we'll see if they make it.
Exciting.
We'll see. So how many was that? 9? It could be 9 songs, maybe. Actually, oh, and then there's the one that I wrote with my dad a couple weeks ago.
10 songs?
We did this. They're 10. It looks like there could be 10. Who knows? Maybe I'll split them up. But yeah, my dad and I entered this radio stations competition. It was a 24-hour songwriting challenge. And I ended up being really proud of the outcome. So I definitely want to release that at some point. Whether it's on this project or a future project, I'm proud of that song.
And what are the things you do outside of music?
I think the unfortunate thing is that this is a tough question for me because music is what I do like most hours of the day. But I do really enjoy nature. I like being outside. I love running, although running doesn't always love me. My knee has been giving me such trouble lately, and it frustrates me because I do love running. I also love reading. I've been getting more into reading, the older I get, which is kind of fun. I also love thrifting. I like kind of have an addiction, but for years, like since I was a kid, I love thrifting and I love just finding cool vintage things. I love fashion. I think fashion sort of goes hand in hand with music. So there's nothing I love more than thrifting cool things and pairing them with other cool things and styling my own little outfits for shows and things like that.
Hmm. And how do you stay healthy and grounded in this crazy music industry?
I think having a good support system. I think on my own, I might not be the best at staying grounded. I definitely think getting outside as much as I can, running when I can, or walking if I can't run, if my knee starts giving me trouble. I think, finding ways to de-stress has been really good for me. And if it's not being active, it's definitely journaling. And finding ways to, do art, but not in a high stakes or high pressure sort of way. I think a lot of time I put pressure on myself to write the song and write a good song. And I think just writing for the sake of writing has been really helpful, or drawing for the sake of drawing and just doodling in a notebook. That's been helpful. But I think the best thing for me staying sane is just having my little support system.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm glad you have that.
Thank you. I am too. I'm very, very thankful.
And one last question. Any advice for young singers?
I wish I had better advice on the tip of my tongue. My biggest thing, I guess if we're going off of my biggest struggle was always visual. My biggest struggle was worrying about what I looked like and whether or not people liked that. So I think what I tell people, I actually think I said this on a podcast a few months ago. So hopefully I'm not repeating myself too much. But my advice would be to make your physical appearance the least interesting thing about you. Like if the most important thing is the way you look, then you're not really an interesting person, in my opinion. I think your hobbies should be what's interesting, the art that you create or the kindness that you exude or, the accomplishments even, not in a toxic sort of accomplishment driven way, but, the songs that you've written or the places you've traveled, those are the things that make you interesting, but it's not your looks. Even though I love clothing too, I love doing fun makeup for shows and stuff, but I think in the past few years I've been trying to work on that and trying to just become neutral to it. Not really positive or negative, but just like, all right, I look a certain way and that's fine. But yeah, especially if I were talking to young female artists, I would say make your physical appearance the least interesting thing about you.
Yeah. Sing first, music first.
Exactly. I think the music should always be first. I think that's why living in such a visually driven music industry is a tough thing, because a lot of the time that is how you're judged, is the way you look in your videos. And
Yep. That's so sad.
I know. It's a sad note to end on. But yeah, it's what this world has come to.
Visuals, faces.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And like, that's why fashion, modeling, music, acting, they all kind of bridge together and people cross over from one to the other. But it's unfortunate that it all relies on looks.
Yeah. I would just say be yourself. Don't try to be
100%.
someone you're not. Thank you so much for listening. I always love having those music conversations with artists I interviewed in the past. I've known Sadie for a little while now, but seeing her growth has been so amazing to watch. Being an artist in 2025 is hard, but like Sadie said, focus on your music and on your craft, and have a good support system, and also be a good person, always. You've got this. And on that note, take care of your mind. Bye.